Hi, Nick Kramer from Visible's product support team here. If you're evaluating companies, whether you're monitoring your existing portfolio companies or evaluating potential new investments, benchmarking is essential. But segmenting those companies and pulling all of the data together can be very time-consuming. You may already be using Visible's native benchmarking dashboards to help assist with this, so that way you can see how your portfolio companies stack up against each other. But the MCP server can help take this a step further, because it lets you query your Visible data through your AI tool, and that allows you to benchmark any company against your existing portfolio. Today, I'm going to walk through 4 prompts that are purpose-built for benchmarking, 2 for portfolio companies that I've already backed, and then 2 for companies that I'm considering investing in. The first prompt that I've added here is pull the ARR and ARR growth rates for all my portfolio companies over the last 4 quarters and rank them from the fastest growing to the slowest growing. Then flag any company that has declined quarter over quarter. And within seconds, the MCP server pulls the latest ARR data that's been submitted by my portfolio companies utilizing Visible's requests and the AI inbox. As you can see, every portfolio company is ranked from the highest performing to the lowest performing based on growth, and then those underperformers are being flagged automatically. And this is the data that portfolio companies are sharing with me every reporting period. Now it's instantly actionable. Okay, let's move on and say that we're preparing for a portfolio review, and we want to get a clear picture of capital efficiency across the fund. I would run a prompt similar to this. Compare net cash burn, gross profit margin, and runway across all my portfolio companies for the most recent quarter. Which companies have a gross margin below 50% and less than 12 months of runway? So with metrics like net cash burn, gross profit, and runway already being tracked inside Visible, the MCP server can cross-reference all 3 of these inside of a single query. And then it's generating this prioritized list of the companies that need my attention before the next portfolio review. And this is the kind of analysis that used to take a full afternoon that can now be shortened into minutes. Now we're going to shift to a deal that I'm actively evaluating. Let's say a founder has shared their data room with me and that their numbers look really solid. They're raising their Series A, and I want to know how they actually compare to portfolio companies that I've backed at a similar stage. I would add a prompt like this. I'm reviewing a data room for a Series A SaaS company. They're reporting 2.1 million in ARR, growing 18% quarter over quarter, have a CAC of 8,400 and 14 months of runway. Pull the ARR, CAC, and runway for all my portfolio companies from the past 2 to 3 years, and identify which ones had a similar or stronger profile at this stage. Because Visible is my historical metric data repository, all of my portfolio companies' previous data lives inside the solution, which allows the MCP server to query that and pull the metrics from any point in time. So if companies have been reporting through Visible since the early days of their journey, you can compare a prospective investment against where your existing portfolios stood at a similar point in time. So this way, I'm not just comparing against an industry report, I'm actually comparing against my own conviction, the deals that I've said yes to in the past, and then the bar that they cleared to get there. All right, we have one last scenario here. And let's say we are looking at a company that's in a similar industry that I have adjacent investments in. And I want to see how the potential opportunity compares to those portfolio companies before I write them a check. I'd add a prompt like this. I'm evaluating a pre-Series B climate tech company with 4.8 million in ARR. They have 62% gross margins, 1.2 million in quarterly burn, and 18 months of runway. Compare these metrics to EcoVolt Energy and Chargers Electric from my portfolio over the last 12 months. Where does this company outperform and where does it lag? This is querying the MCP to pull the data from my portfolio companies, EcoVolt and Chargers Electric, and then it's calculating that trailing 12 months of data, which shows exactly how this portfolio company stacks up against my existing investments. And now I can walk into my partner meeting knowing exactly how this deal compares to similar bets that I've made in the space. Your portfolio companies are already generating this data and sharing it with you through requests and through the AI inbox. The MCP server just makes sure that it's working for you. Whether you are supporting a company that you've already backed or deciding on the next one that you will, this makes benchmarking something that you can do in the moment versus blocking off a full afternoon. The benchmarks that you need are already invisible. The MCP server just makes them instantly accessible. So get started today.